what Shona said, studying those genre-specific characteristics. If I look at Robert Frost stopping by woods on a snowy evening, whose woods these are I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. There's a purpose to the rhyme and the meter and the poem. But if I turn around and I read Ethan Frome, which has the same kind of characteristics as stopping by woods on a snowy evening, I approach a novel differently than I approach a poem. So if I can help kids understand that this poem is doing something different than this novel, but it's also doing it differently. So that's looking at the genre-specific characteristics.
It's not just about what he's doing, it's about how the author is doing it. It's and why. And that's where we need to get our students to, and where we need to get our teachers to.
And what does that look like in media today? It looks like an embedded video in a tweet. Think about the number of Facebook posts that have a narrative with a complementary video. But I also think about some news sites that have a video that the article is actually a transcript of the video. So there are these different levels of text out there that kids have access to that, you know, now let's talk about it. The last standard in genres is multimodal texts and digital literacies. So how does this change the landscape of the classroom?
This is where we see a lot of those blended genres, I would think. For example, there's several poetry books that have come out that have informational poems. Then also within that, they've got the actual like typed up informational like little blurb about that topic. So there's one called Creepy Crawlies. And so it's got all these great poetry pieces that are about those things, but also that informational piece. So the students are taking it from the photograph. So it's got elements of several things, and we've got to teach students to make sense of that type of a text.
Since we're seeing texts that have multiple genres inside of them, we are going to have to see how we can train readers to understand what the demands are for each one, because they're going to have to be switching back and forth between several of them to be able to do that. So I think that that's one reason why I kind of like that all of the genres are in one thing, because that's more and more of the way we're having to think, because that's more and more the way texts are coming to us.
You know, it really makes my high school brain think about everything is an argument. Everything is an argument, and when you look at a multimodal text, you're tying that with author's purpose. That author has a purpose, and they are making an argument for you to think or feel or believe something. And so I like that we're giving a nod to the fact that everything is multimodal in some form or fashion, and let's own it and let's study it that way.
So I think about different resources that are out there for multimodal texts, and the National Archives has photo essays at archives.gov, and that there is a photo essay called The Way We Worked, and it's pictures of how people worked in the 30s and the 40s, and it's a multimodal text. And Laura talked about the picture books. Picture books are by and large multimodal. We talked about Freedom in Congo Square, which is the true story of when slaves were freed in New Orleans on half day, half free in Congo Square. So in New Orleans, that's what they got, Sunday half day, but it's told in verse about a true event. So I have an informational text told in verse with the vocabulary outlined at the end, told through incredible illustrations. Then we go back to response and draw your own interpretation of that.
Oh, or like Skeleton Creek, that series. It's got the video, it's got the links to the videos that you watch that complement, that help tell the story of the text.
Well, and where are we moving with digital literacies? We're moving into augmented reality and different apps out there that kids can interact with the text in a very different way.
At first, when I started reading this, it feels really just overwhelming and like there's so much to do. But you think about our kids that we teach now, and they're already using, like you said, multimodal every single day. I feel like for us, it's more of just a refinement and teaching them how to apply that beyond just online, beyond just what they see on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever else they want to look at. So I mean, they are inundated with multimodal every single day. It's just a matter of us working, like I said, to refine, to bring it in, to hone it, and have them see applications beyond just immediate gratification.
Is it a wake-up call for us if they're experiencing multimodal already?
They beat us to the punch.
They have beat us to the punch. So there sits the teacher who says, I keep giving them the Rocking Horse winner year after year, and they don't want to read it. Well, it's because they're steeped in multimodal, and we keep saying, here's a 13-page short story. If you could read it and do the plot diagram, that'd be great for me.
Somebody once said to me that school is a place, the only place, that children go to watch adults work. And for an example of this thing is school is a place where we read in ways that we never do in real life. And these TEKs are an opportunity for us to say, how do we really read and write and think and speak? Yes. And let's do that at school.
I feel like it's an opportunity for us to say, okay, how do you do that?
Right.
And you already do this every day.
Right.
How are you going to apply what you already do to this? And show me how to do that so that we can all talk about the same thing.
But making it explicit and naming what those cognitive moves are that they are practicing.
Yeah. Our kids have been reading in multimodal texts since comic books came out. So our kids are devouring manga, they're devouring graphic novels, they're devouring these books. All we have to do is bring them into our classroom, recognize that they are a legitimate text, and use them to teach skills like comprehension and response and writing. There's no reason to not use what they already do and already love. Why are our kids having this secret reading life? I've got my graphic novel over here and I'm gonna hide it from my teacher because we can't read that in class.
So that lays the foundation for where we go at an even grittier level into what a lot of people are looking forward to next time is composition, but also author's purpose and craft. So when we get to author's purpose and craft, we really make that full circle into kind of the intent of where these standards shine, really. So thank you for your time, and see everybody next time. Thank you.